now from Terry Jermy, who is their local MP in southwest Norfolk and has taken up Karen and her mum's case. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthew.
So you've had a lot of people get in touch about problems with blue badges. This is one, in fact, out of many, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think that's the concern is that Jean's case there that you've been hearing about is not an isolated incident. I mean, we've had dozens of cases now right across southwest Norfolk, but I also know other MPs in Norfolk are experiencing similar issues. Particularly for us, I mean, it's right across all the way down the south. I've had people from sort of Garbersham Way up to Hilgey, Emnif, Munford, so it's actually quite a widespread issue.
So tell me a little bit about the impact this has on the people that have contacted you. I mean, obviously, if they're applying for one of these badges, they must feel that it's a necessary thing for their everyday life.
Yes, and I think actually if you look at southwest Norfolk and the wider county, very often there's no public transport in place, or if there is public transport, often that's not appropriate. People do really rely on a car to get out and about for shopping, for medical appointments, for a whole range of reasons. I've met people who tell me actually they're really reluctant now to leave their village, to go to the nearby town, to go to even just to the supermarket, because if they don't have a blue badge, there's no guarantee they can park anywhere near where they need to park, or if they've got a loved one that's taking them. It actually makes it so complicated and difficult. They're opting to stay in the village and just not leave. And they tell me about how their independence is being affected. They're becoming more lonely and isolated. And so it is actually a whole number of different concerns, and it is impacting people's quality of life.
Now, I think many of us would back the authorities if they're not just wanting to hand these things out willy-nilly. There's got to be some criteria, hasn't there? But Jean, she's 87. It's extraordinary. She's had 3 hip replacements and 4 applications all turned down. Were you as surprised as everyone else about this?
Yes, I was very surprised. I haven't met Jean yet, but I've certainly read her particular case. I have met a number of other people where, certainly having met them, I think they should qualify. And that's one of the frustrations is there's been a decrease in the number of face-to-face assessments. It's very much now a sort of desktop paper-based exercise. Lots of people tell me they just can't get the evidence that they need to justify it. But if somebody were to meet them, they could see very clearly what the situation was. I've got a guy in his 90s in Emnif who doesn't want to have the sort of the invasive diagnostics and the work looking at his medical condition. He's reached that age where he's not going to have that issue fixed. So, but to actually come up with the paperwork to show what the issue is really complicated. We need to have more face-to-face assessments, and we need to improve the administration of the scheme. It shouldn't be this difficult for people with disabilities, with medical conditions. It shouldn't be that difficult for them to get a blue badge.
County Hall insists it is applying the criteria correctly and that any changes, we should refer ourselves to central government who make the rules on these things. They say they're unable to issue badges based purely on a diagnosed condition. Do you think that the council is fulfilling their remit properly here?
We had a debate in Westminster just a couple of weeks ago in Westminster Hall, which I took part in. Some years ago, the rules were changed so that local councils could have more of a sort of independent policy. There's a national sort of guidance criteria, but local councils have the ability to shape it for their area. What we need is Norfolk County Council to look at this across the county and actually say, there is a specific issue here in Norfolk. We need to shape the rules to fit our county. Government allows that flexibility, and I think they are going to look at amending the national guidance as well. It's a little bit out of date now for some specific criteria, but actually they do have the power here in Norfolk to make it easier for people to get access to a blue badge, and we should be looking at that.
So really what you're calling for, Mr. Jermy, is a bit of an outbreak of common sense, aren't you?
Yes, wouldn't that be lovely? I mean, the policy here in Norfolk is due for renew within the next 12 months. This is our opportunity to actually look at what's happening across the county, take into account that we're a rural area. We often have an older population in many of our communities as well. Let's get a policy that works for people living here in Norfolk.
Terry Jermy, MP for South West Norfolk, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.